Well, folks, you are, arriving at a point in time where we're now going to be coming into the final 2 rounds of the online phase of the Ferrari HP Esports series. But first and foremost, we've got to tackle Silverstone. And obviously, like I said before, only 2 rounds remain, including this one, to decide the fate of those drivers looking to contest for a spot at the grand final at Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. George Morgan here, your commentator, alongside me as always, Rory Alexander. Rory, pleasure to be back, first and foremost. Good to see you after a week's break. We can sort of stagnate some of these events now. We're coming into the final echelons of the regional finals phase, and it has been a thriller, and tonight looks to be exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be back. Good to be back. It's always good to hang out with you guys and bring, the Ferrari HP Esports series to everybody at home. Yeah, it's been a fantastic season. I mean, I can't believe it's almost kind of over, to be honest. We're around the corner from Ferrari World Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. We just got to work out a couple more people to bring to the party. And after last time out at Watkins Glen, here in this regional final, the story is fantastic.
It is, absolutely right. We came off the back of a recent soiree as well on the iRacing platform as well. We've tackled ACC as well alike, but the Americas region now starting to come to an end. We have got only 2 rounds remaining in the Americas region, including this one this evening. Of course, tonight we're going to be tackling things on Assetto Corsa Competizione, and the story really has been all about Nicolas Alvarado here at the moment here, Rory. Obviously a driver that has managed to win 2 races in his last 3, when of course we went racing at Watkins Glen, and his other result was a P2 as well. May not have taken pole, but it didn't stop him.
No, I mean, there's an unsung sort of person in this as well. There was Morera, of course, who led from the front in the first race. He qualified on pole. He went and won the first race, but then he was leading and had a disconnect in the second race, which put him at the back, and then he got caught up in all the crash. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do there. And also there's a few other players who I'm sure we'll talk about later who will come to the fore. And to be honest, the big fight here is for that second ticket to Ferrari World Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. It almost looks like Alvarado has got it sewn up, but with this format, we never know.
Rory, we've been down this road several times, have we not? Obviously, where drivers look to have been on the precipice of getting through, have gone and blitzed the first round, but it's all slipped through their fingers. We saw it time and time again. We've seen it on Assetto Corsa. We've seen it on iRacing. We could yet see it on ACC as well. But folks, what a tremendous championship we have had so far. Obviously, the regional finals phases have come and gone. 30 participants came in from hot laps and regional qualifiers, and then faced 2 rounds of races. 3 races per round, of course, as standard, with the top 5 from each region then qualifying for the grand finals at Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi for the Ferrari HP Esports series. Remember though, top 1 from AC and top 2 taken from iRacing and ACC. So tonight, as we go racing on ACC, 2 drivers will qualify from this regional finals phase here in the Americas region to lay claim to a potential prize down at the grand final at Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. It's all to play for. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be stellar. It's going to be fantastic. Let's take you through as well the race structure. Race 1, grid decided by a qualifying result. Race 2, the grid is set by Race 1's result, with Race 3 dictated by Race 2's result. And that, of course, will give us an inkling as to who's going through. Of course, this is the final night for Americas on ACC, so we will know who our 2 drivers are that are going to be heading to Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi tonight. And remember, that taking place on the 5th of December. It's going to be very exciting. Top 6 goes into grand final. Remember, 2 from each region as well. So yeah, fascinating stuff. And already the drivers working hard in free practice. An aggressive structure as well, Rory. The drivers have to be on their toes.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned earlier, we saw it happen in the last time out at Watkins Glen. We had Fidel Morera, led from the front in the first race, and then he had a massive issue. Like in the second race, he disconnected, he found himself at the back, and then got caught up in a ginormous pile-up coming up the hill there on lap 1. I think only 4 or 5 cars made it through. Yeah, I mean, another few casualties as well. We had Angel Instroza as well. He had an issue, and anything can happen in this. And as we've seen, certainly the ones that I've done with you, George, anything normally does happen. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
You're absolutely spot on with that. Absolutely right indeed. Truly phenomenal. Let's take you through the regions that are obviously taking place here in the Ferrari HP Esports Series. Asia Pacific is where, of course, we have raced, as well as Europe. We've already closed out those two regions so far, though. However, the final 2 rounds that we do have are going to take place on the Americas continent this time around. So that will be the region of focus for the next 2 rounds at the very least. Of course, this one being round 12 to once again crown 2 drivers with a place at Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, for the grand finale of the Ferrari HP Esports Series. It's going to be very interesting to see who's going to, well, certainly what cream is going to rise to the top in this fight. But it just goes to show, we speak about it being a global championship, and it truly is. Here is the calendar, here's where we've been, and as well as where we're soon to go as well. Imola, we've already kissed that one off our list, crossed it off. We have got Watkins Glen, we have already gone through that. Laguna Seca. We do have 1 round remaining around Nürburgring as well, coming up very, very soon. But we've been through Summit Point. We've been through the majority at Silverstone. We finalised that one here tonight. But Nürburgring comes up very soon, round 18, on the 19th of October, which will be the next one after tonight's festivities. It is going to be sensational. And of course, Assetto Corsa Competizione tonight. It'll be just Assetto Corsa on the 19th of October, and we'll find out who's going to be joining the rest of the drivers. Remember, it'll only be 1 driver qualifying from that Americas round in round 18, as there are 2 from both iRacing and 2 from Assetto Corsa Competizione, just 1 from Assetto Corsa itself. So very exciting. We'll then find out who that final lineup is, or what the final lineup is heading to the Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi Fiesta, where of course we will find out who is going to be the overall champion of the Ferrari HP Esports Series this season. Let's take you through the circuit. Of course, tonight we revisit the Earl Grey of World Motorsport. We head to Silverstone, Northamptonshire, UK. Capacity of 164,000, opened back in 1948. 3.660 miles. 3.890 kilometers is the track length, and of course we're going to be running around the arena circuit, but from the original pit lane. You can just see that the car certainly running around the eras of Maggots and Beckett's. We've seen many overtakes made there. We've of course witnessed many great races in the past as well. Of course, we saw some fantastic moments through the course of other regions that have taken place here around this track, and it opens doors, windows of opportunity for overtaking, Rory. Technical, but at the same time, you have those long straights.
Yeah, proper Grand Prix circuit, this one. Nice and wide, really quick. One of the favourites of F1 drivers all around as well. You know, the home of British motorsport in Northamptonshire, Silverstone. Absolutely love it. It's a far cry from where we were last week in the last round of in iRacing, where we were at Summit Point. This is a completely different beast, even a completely different beast to Watkins Glen, as we were at last time out when we saw these guys. Yeah, so it's a different set of challenges. I expect it to be wide open racing. There's going to be 3-4 wide at times, I'm sure, as everybody tries to punch their ticket to Ferrari World Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. And I'm just looking at the practice timings, George, and the guy, we're talking about stories. The guy who goes in leading is currently P4 at the moment in practice, and the guy who disconnected and then got caught out in practice, but got caught out in the final race, but won the first race, Vidal Moreira, is leading the way once again.
And he'd be hoping to take back-to-back pole positions as well, should this remain the same. Heading into qualifying, of course, that we've got coming up later on. Gabriel Felipe, another name that is obviously shown to be filled with a lot of promise. 2 podiums taken in 3 races so far, was narrowly missed out in the final race at Watkins Glen, finishing P4 and taking 12 points in that. Could have so easily been a P3 or maybe more, but he has also been impressive and could yet be a thorn in the side of the likes of Vidal Moreira, who is currently sat, in terms of the point standing of things, a little ways back. It's against the grain for Moreira here at this point to challenge, because of course the last 2 results haven't necessarily been stellar. He finished P22 in race 2 and P12 just outside the points, and remember, only 10 places dictate the points, that of course being Ps 1 down to Ps 10. Unfortunately for Moreira, finished 12th in that final race as well. He only took 25 points from his first round at Watkins Glen, and no doubt he probably feels like he's got a bit of a point to prove tonight, Rory.
100%. He needs to end. He probably feels like he probably needs to end this second round on 100 points. He probably wants 3 wins, and he's going to need to do that by starting on pole. As we've seen so often in these, you know, the format is just absolutely brutal because the qualifying for this first race, of course, sets the grid for them. But then the result of the first race sets the grid for the second race, and the result of the second race sets the grid for the third race. So this is really the catalyst for everybody's evening. And as we saw even before that in practice, Moreira's leading the way, and Alvarado, as we're seeing here, our current points leader, was down in 4th. And there's a few other names in there. So Felipe, you've mentioned. We've got Doran as well, Loverink, even Dornelles. Could throw a spanner in the works here. He did some good defending. He spent most of his evening defending at Watkins Glen, but he did a good job nonetheless. So yeah, all these storylines is going to be so interesting to watch. Let's get this thing going.
Absolutely right. We're watching currently our championship leader, Nicolas Alvarado. Of course, 2 wins back-to-back in the final 2 races of round 2. Or round 1, I should say. Of course, race 2 and race 3 is where he laid claim to victory, but finished second as well in race 1, just in behind Fidel Moreira. So definitely count him with a favourite's chance of making his way into the grand final. But never say never. We have seen results slip already in the past, and we could yet see them slip again. We have got 17 drivers taking to the grid this time around as we now undertake qualifying. Only 5 minutes to set a lap, Rory. That leaves very little window of opportunity.
Yeah, and again, I keep harping on about the format. It's so important to get that in, so the pressure is on. You know, we're on board here with Nicolas Alvarado, just coming through down onto the hangar straight here. You know, he's going to be wanting to get off to a quick start. 4.5 minutes left of this quali session. Let's see what everybody does for their first round of fast laps, because they'll be looking at that delta and the standings on the left-hand side there that we can all see, and it will be interesting to see who gets first blood and gets that first psychological edge coming in to this last round.
It's all about a psychological edge here at this point, but the Argentinian who we're currently riding on board with, Nicolas Alvarado, hailing from Buenos Aires, runner-up at Silverstone in the NWS GT3 Sprint Series back in 2022 in gold class, so knows exactly what to do in terms of trying to usher in positive results at the very highest end of the spectrum. Now making his way down in towards the next right-hander, coming out of the very tricky right through Village. The loop coming up next after that, a trip through Aintree, and then down the Wellington Straight once more. This, of course, will later bring it end to his lap. 3 minutes and 30 to go. Because he's going to be met nip and tuck, I'm sure, with the likes of Fidel Moreira. He can't count him out, the 25-year-old Brazilian, who is a professional sim racing driver competing in the GT World Challenge Intercontinental GT Challenge Endurance Series, and is a runner-up in the Spa 24-hour in silver class, as well as a runner-up in SRO Americas 2023, so packs a punch in terms of a CV. But let's see if Nicolas Alvarado can send a message here at the very start of qualifying. Zach Doran currently on top. Here comes Alvarado. Not quite the message he would want to send yet. Nearly 5/10 in behind Doran up at the top of the shop.
Exactly, and that's what we saw in practice. You know, this is what we've mentioned a couple of times now. You know, just that they are specialists, you know, because they've got such a short amount of time here. As Fidel Moreira goes across the line, well, he's only second, so Zach Doran, they're leading the pack after those first rounds. We'll see if anyone can knock him off top spot. But, you know, we get different specialists at different tracks. You know, is it the case that Moreira was just really, really good at Watkins Glen? Was that his, like, favourite track? Who knows? You know, could Silverstone be his Achilles heel? We don't know, and all these things are going to play out as the evening goes on. But Doran has got off to the best start so far, and he'll be very happy with all the names behind him after that one.
No doubt. 156.692 sits at the top of the timing tower. With 2 minutes to go, the pressure is now on the rest of the field. Fidel Moreira probably likely feeling that pressure. Second fastest, whilst he's ahead of at the moment Nicolas Alvarado. Of course, Alvarado down in 4th place. Got Ricardo Rivera in between the two. Moreira sat in second and still very nearly 1.5 tenths away from Doran up at the very top. And whilst obviously Doran doesn't quite have the same CV, does the man from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he is still giving his absolute best and bringing it to the forefront here at Silverstone. And what a place to do it as well, as he now bursts down in towards the next left, where he'll then venture in towards Brooklands and Luffield, and then make his way around Woodcote before crossing the start-finish line. Moreira, like I said, with a little bit to find. Let's see if he can do that. Still the purple being held by Zach Doran, who now eventually will cross the line once more. Let's see where the time sits as he does so. Remember, just under 1.5 tenths so far between them. No improvements just yet as he crosses the line. Here comes Alvarado. He'll improve, though, and go second fastest. 85 thousandths behind Doran up at the top.
Yeah, much better from there. He really hooked up that first sector, which he didn't do last time out. He was almost 2 tenths quicker than Doran on that last one. But then Moreira comes in to put it on pole. The guy who won the first race and then had the issues for the rest of his evening last time out at Watkins Glen lets everybody know he's back, he's here, and he wants to get to Ferrari World, Yas Island, Abu Dhabi.
And that could be the final nail in the coffin for the likes of Zach Doran and Nicolas Alvarado as well. That is a blistering lap from Fidel Moreira here at this point. Very nearly 2 tenths faster, at least 1 3/4 tenths faster than anyone else out on track so far at the very least. Of course, Zach Doran now down to second. Alvarado still remains in third place. Of course, hasn't managed to bring that gap down as much as perhaps he would have liked. Orlando Lara popping himself into the top 10 as well. 10th place just ahead of Casey Harding, who is in turn ahead of Lissandro Antonello and Yusu Gutierrez. And Renato Dornelles down in 14th as well. Gabriel Felipe currently sat down in 15th. That's less than ideal for him. Of course, one of the drivers we were very keen to watch after his last string of performances. Remember, finishing on the podium twice last time out and finished 4th in race 3 as well. So he's been very consistent, a consistent player. The timer is now ticked to 0, and we're now in extra time as far as qualifying is concerned. Still drivers looking to try and complete their laps in order to usher in their very best. Neco Marta has pulled out the checkered flag, as is Di Bernardo. We're now watching Nicolas Alvarado making his way around the final portion of this circuit. We'll need to try and open something up before heading down the long straight out of Woodcote. Let's see what the Ferrari 296 can usher in this time. Is it enough to tackle Moreira? It's enough for P2. He will meet Moreira on the front row. Half a hundredth, or should I say 45 thousandths between Alvarado and Moreira. Will Moreira improve furthermore on what he's already managed to obtain? A 156.515 across the line. He'll go even faster. Blistering from Fidel Moreira, 165. That is 0.165 faster than Nicolas Alvarado at the top of the tree. That is going to hurt Alvarado, I'm sure.
Absolutely. What an emotional rollercoaster that would have been for Alvarado there. You know, he got off to a poor start there. Then he got close to him, and then Moreira said, "No, remember me, I am still here." And then comes in with a 156.395, almost 2 tenths of a second ahead of Alvarado there. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because a few of the big players are down the back. I've got no idea what happened to who was down the back. A couple of guys didn't even get out the pits, it would seem, George. You know, Dornelles and Felipe didn't even get out the pits, so they'll be starting down the back. They have got an uphill battle coming tonight.
Well, Gabriel Felipe is one of the biggest shocks, I think, out of all that. Remember, twice the podium sitter, not even setting a valid lap time. Here are the standings. Nicolas Alvarado, quick reminder, 68 points. He is the current regional finals leader here in the Americas region on ACC. Gabriel Felipe not setting a lap time at all. Currently second in the standings. Has he squandered his place at the grand final? We'll wait and see. Zach Doran in third place, another decent qualifying session. Not enough, though, to keep Alvarado behind. Skylar Lovrink in 4th in 31-point territory, with Fidel Moreira with a point to prove. He's just taken pole. Can he go on, take a race win like he did last time at Watkins Glen to open up his account? But he'll need to carry it on right through the night to give himself a chance. Renato Dornelles also unimpressive in qualifying, P6. Hamza Gulzar down in 7th on 12 points, matching Ricardo Rivera, also on 12 in 8th place. That rounds out your top 8 in the championship here in the ACC Americas region. Angel Inestrosa down in 9th place on 11 points. Vinny Oliveira on 9 points in 10th. Bruno Yamamoto on 8 points down in 11th. Jose Este in 12th on 6, with Mateus Alves in 13th place on 4, joined with Louis Velez in 14th, with Devon Dunson on 2, as well as Ruby Nekomata. They are 15th and 16th, respectively. So there we go. That is your current standing. Of course, everything will be provisional after each race. The stewards, of course, will be on point and looking to deliver on each stewarding decision. I mean, this tees up a fascinating affair for tonight's racing action here, Rory. I mean, the biggest shock, the man who sits P2 in the championship is going to be starting P16 on the grid ahead of our first race. Truly astonishing. What's Gabriel Felipe got to do here?
He's got, I don't know. He's got a lot to do. It's making me scratch my head.
Say a prayer or something.
If he's a believer, I would suggest he says a prayer, yeah. Because the way after that qualifying, it looks like it's a three-way dance now for those for those 2 tickets, really. So you've got Nicolas Alvarado, who's currently sitting at the top on 68 points. You've got Zach Doran, who's on 41 points. And then, of course, we're now Fidel Moreira, my apologies, who's coming in. He's got 25 points coming into this, but he's now on pole. So all 3 of those are going to be wanting to absolutely go for this. It just puts a smile on my face. We are in for an absolute show this evening. It's not like Summit Point or something where it's a small twisty track where there's no room to pass. You know, the whole shot doesn't really matter here because you've got so many long straights. The track is so fast, so wide that it's going to be good, I think.
Well, I mean, Fidel Moreira, as far as he's concerned, he doesn't want to be brandished with the tag of having excellent one-lap pace, but race pace or race trim that doesn't really go anywhere. I mean, I would say that's probably his biggest kryptonite, I would say. Nicolas Alvarado is going to make his life exceptionally difficult, sat second on the grid. I mean, with Alvarado, I suppose all he really needs to do is just keep an eye on Fidel Moreira. He doesn't really need to beat him all that much. He has got that points leverage in his favour. Even if he was to finish second and just be a little bit patient, then he's bound to be in a good position come the end of the session.
Yeah, and we've seen Zach Doran be super aggressive, though, as well. So he'll be wanting to get up in there. So it's going to be fascinating, George. We're about to find out exactly who comes out on top.
Yeah, Moreira all in red. We've got Alvarado in yellow. Let's see who's going to lead heading through Copse Corner. It's going to be a spicy one, folks. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled. Don't forget Zach Doran in behind. Ricardo Rivera will be looking to rise as well. Green flag is now being waved and it's pedal to the metal and it's go, 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 go. Great start for Moreira. Leads the way heading in towards turn 1. We've got Alvarado just in behind us watching him as they make their way in towards Maggots and Beckett. Zach Doran as well further back in third with Ricardo Rivera as well watching all over his rear. The 2 cars dressed up in that light blue livery in the Ferrari 296 now starting to pivot their way through Maggots and Beckett's and through Chapel, but it was an undisturbed run for Fidel Moreira heading in towards Copse. We've got some side-by-side action further down as drivers look to fight. There's a car gone off onto the grass and that could be a technical failure. I'm not quite sure what happened there, Rory.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd hope it's a technical failure. Otherwise, he needs to go to Specsavers because he just went a little bit left there. But looking up to the front, Moreira, again, every race that he has started from pole, well, the one race, I think he started from race 2 on pole as well, he has led from the front. I mean, Moreira is just on point here. He's already got a half-second lead here. The question for me is, what's Doran going to do? What's Doran going to do? Is he going to attack Alvarado, knowing that Moreira is going to walk away potentially with this one? Maybe that's what he's thinking. It's just fascinating how he's going to play this. Is Doran thinking that his main rival is Alvarado, or is it Moreira? Well, we're going to find out, I suppose.
Fabulous start for Gabriel Felipe, up to 11th place already. In fact, make a difference. That's actually 9th place. Incredible. What a start in the first lap for Gabriel Felipe, who had to make moves, wasn't able to qualify a single lap time on the board when we had our qualifying session earlier on. He's going to go rally outside here of Yamamoto, but has made contact and it's pushed him off at Brooklands, coming in towards left field as well. So that set him back a bit. All the hard work he has put in right on the opening lap, unfortunately being chipped away, and now he's down to 12th place here, Rory.
Yeah, potentially with damage as well. That was a little bit of a door bang there. Rubbing is racing, as they say, but I don't think Felipe will be very happy with that one. He looked like he got off to a good start on that opening lap. He'd made his way up, as you say, up into, well, now 12th place, but it's still, you know, it's still a good job from him. He can still work from there. He's still got 12.5 minutes here to try and get up the field at this wide and fast track. So the slipstream's really going to help here. Speaking of slipstream, Doran's in Alvarado's slipstream here, and I don't think Alvarado's going to be in Moreira's. So he could have a few problems here. Doran is going to absolutely go for this. We've seen him a couple of times at Watkins Glen. He takes no prisoners. So let's see if a battle for P2 is about to start.
He needs to make this happen as well, Rory, because of course he's in this fight for the championship and qualification heading into the grand final at Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi. We've got Neko Marta as well coming toe-to-toe, currently sat in 11th place, trying to challenge Antonello in front, but also Gabriel Felipe, who's trying to fight his way back through. Remember, lost a place not too long ago. Well, I think he's just taken one back as they now head down the straight in towards the next right-hander. So a great effort on Felipe's part, who is now chasing after Antonello over a top 10 spot. So Felipe seemingly recovering. A little moment though for Neko Marta, who gets up onto the curb. Another move for Felipe, and look at this, Di Bernardo up in behind as well, all dressed in red, and look at that move there from Gabriel Felipe. He's going to lose out to Lisandro. Oh no, Lisandro Antonello is going to lose out here to the force, the brunt force of Gabriel Felipe, heading around the outside, coming out now of the loop section through Aintree. Fabulous effort there from Gabriel Felipe to recover like he has done, losing out on places. A big dive up the inside from Di Bernardo, and he's just caught Antonello as well. He's been pushed off wide, and once more wheel to wheel as they come around this next right-hander. The 24 of Jose Este as well in this fight too. Extraordinary scenes here. The driver's just really letting the chains off, Rory.
Absolute savagery down there in the trenches. You know, Felipe has done well to get through all of that, because that is not a place you want to be. If you want to try and make your way through the pack. There's a couple exit stage left there. I don't know who that was or who we missed that, but yeah, as I say, Felipe is on an absolute charge at the moment.
He certainly is, and we're now watching Orlando Lara in the top 10. You can just see there in behind as well, Gabriel Felipe, who's been really right in the storybook so far. Still at the top though, it's Fidel Moreira. Nicholas Alvarado though with the fastest lap of the race so far, Rory, which I'm sure will give him a boon of confidence. Zach Doran though is still haunting his rear spoiler.
Yeah, he won't have too much time to celebrate that fastest lap, because Zach is on him at this point. I don't know if Moreira is just kind of nursing this one at the moment. He must, in the back of his mind, be thinking, I've been here before whatever happened to him, whether it was an internet thing or whether it was a computer thing, I don't know. But he has not had a 100% success rate, and that's where it all went wrong for him last time out at Watkins Glen. So he knows he's got the pace on track. You know, he's seeing it here. We saw it last time out, as I say, at Watkins Glen. But maybe in the back of his mind he's thinking, is everything going to hold up for me here? But yeah, as we look here to Gabriel Felipe, he's going for another one here. Who's this? Orlando Lara is next on the hit list for Gabriel Felipe here as they come down the Wellington Straight down towards Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote. Let's see what he does here. You have to go around the outside here to get the inside for Luffield, but he might just be lining him up for a potential move up to Copse after the start-finish straight.
I think he might be. So he's done exceptionally well to close up the gap like he has done here on Orlando Lara. And just look at that, they're finding the line, heading out of Luffield through towards Woodcote. They're going to run side by side now on the run in towards Copse. And oh so simple, oh so easy for Gabriel Felipe. He moves up into ninth. A look up the inside once more from Orlando Lara, but certainly isn't going to brave it on the brakes around there. A very fast-paced corner, one of the fastest corners you'll find on the Silverstone circuit, and obviously one of the fastest corners you'll see in motorsport as well. Gabriel Felipe flying into Maggots and Beckett's. Next on his list is Bruno Yamamoto.
Yeah, we'll have to move on though, because we don't talk about Bruno around here, I'm afraid. We're going to have to go through to Zach Doran here. Let's see what he's doing here. He's on the back of Alvarado still. Do you think he's going to make a move here, George? I think he's got it in him. He's looking. I thought he was going to go for it there. I'm expecting a move here very, very soon. And all the time that they're doing this, and Alvarado's looking in his rearview mirror, Moreira is just going to continue. This is all he needs to do. He's got an almost 2-second gap now where he can sit, chill, and just bring this one home. That's exactly what he wants to do. This is the main battle on track right now. This is the one that we want to watch.
Yeah, and Zach Doran obviously looking for a place at the grand final on the 5th of December in Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, the Ferrari HP Esports series. So this move would be worth a lot in terms of the big heavy stakes at play here tonight, as they now fly heading out of the loop through Aintree, heading down in towards Brooklands, and it looks like Doran senses, well, certainly smells blood here this time. He's going to have a look at the inside, kind of half-hearted though. Actually decided, I think he was slightly hesitant to make the move happen there, but might find the switchback in similar fashion to what we saw from Gabriel Felipe not too long ago, as they exit now out of Luffield through towards Woodcote. Still no move on offer here for Zach Doran, and still it's Nicholas Alvarado holding on to second, but Doran making all the right moves and sending all the right messages, Rory.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a move on though, because Ricardo Rivera, currently P8 in the championship as well, he's closing down on them, mainly because they're having to defend. They're not taking the optimal lines through there. They're looking at each other. That's what they're concentrating on, rather than the apexes and the breaking points and all that sort of stuff. So it is actually allowing Ricardo Rivera into it. And I think, Zach, as we know, he's an aggressive driver, and I don't think he's got anything to lose here. Alvarado has got his P1 in the championship. He's got 1 foot in the door. He's got 1 foot on the plane to Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. But Zach Doran can just absolutely go for it here. That's why I think we're seeing what we're seeing. He won't want to let him pass, but I don't think he'll put too much of a fight up, Felipe, because right now he is in pole position.
Yeah, well, I would say at this stage, obviously looking at it on paper, we've got obviously a big battle brewing in the top end of things, and this is in the rear end of the top 10. Of course, with Gabriel Felipe trying to challenge Bruno Yamamoto over 8th place, as they now fly in towards the next right-in swinger, coming out of what would be turn 1 at the Grand Prix, typical Grand Prix circuit at Hamilton. Very defensive-minded there from Bruno Yamamoto, and Gabriel Felipe is going to eat this up, surely, as he looks to go side by side. He's going to find leverage once more coming out of the loop through towards Aintree. So now the run they will take down the Wellington Straight. The question is there straight line speed on offer here for Gabriel Felipe? Can he find the momentum against Bruno Yamamoto heading down in towards Brooklands? Will he send it up the inside? Not this time. Obviously still Yamamoto holding on to that 8th place, but we saw Felipe pull off a fantastic move heading through this portion of circuit not too long ago. He did it to get past Orlando Lara. Can he use it again this time to dispose of Bruno Yamamoto and try and get the run down into Copse? Can't quite do it. This is a fascinating encounter between these two drivers. Yamamoto giving us a show here, has competed in the GT World Challenge America Sprint Series in silver class, knows exactly what it's like to perform in such a heavy-handed well, certainly with a heavy-handed list of drivers that come from all crops, all paths, and have all excelled at the very top. Gabriel Felipe knows all about that as well, taking different lines to Yamamoto, coming through Maggots and Beckett's and coming through Chapel Curve. He has got so much leverage, and he's going to go up alongside Yamamoto this time, wheel to wheel, as they look to send it in towards Stowe. A little bit of rubbing between the pair as they fly through this next right. Still no answer here for Felipe against Yamamoto, went ultra defensive, but now the leverage once more is in the hands here of Gabriel Felipe into the heavy braking zone at the club corner, and Yamamoto is constantly deterring Felipe, but Felipe with the run out of club. They fly through this right-hander now on the run into what would usually be turn 1, and Felipe with the nose on his Ferrari 296 in front will take P8 away from Bruno Yamamoto. Fabulous effort, determination to the max. Fantastic from Gabriel Felipe.
Absolutely brilliant there, as you say, George. He set that up way back. He was setting that up, he was setting that through Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel. You saw him take a wider line coming out of Beckett so that he can get a better run down the Hanger Straight after Chapel. Then he was just putting him under so much pressure. I thought he was actually going to go up the inside at club there, but he ended up through and then through from Abbey in ahead. I mean, it's going to be difficult here. He's got a 6-second gap now to the car in front in 7th place, who is Joseph German. A name we're not too familiar with, actually, Joseph German. But he is in 7th place. But let's have a look up front here. Absolutely commanding. 3 seconds now. Moreira is ahead of Alvarado, and it looks like there's a bit of a gap forming now between Alvarado and Doran. Has he given up, or has he just fallen back a bit? I guess we shall see. Oh, well, it's 0.8 of a second. It doesn't actually look that much as he's going defensive there, coming down the hanger straight.
Goes to show how much time can be won and lost in certain portions here at Silverstone. What I can tell you is that Nicholas Alvarado was around 0.4 quicker than Zach Doran on the previous lap, but no one is lapping like Fidel Moreira right now. Fidel Moreira is the only driver lapping in the 156s. Everyone else is either 157 or 158. If you're Bruno Yamamoto, he was lapping in the 2-minute mark last time around because he was so busy defending against Gabriel Felipe, who is now looking to try and close up to the back of Joseph German. As we now watch them fly through this right-hander, still Zach Doran in pursuit of a P2 finish. Will need a few things to go his way. He has got a close and personal with Nicholas Alvarado already this evening, but has yet to pull the plug, shall we say, on Alvarado's opportunity at a P2 here tonight. Still, though, Moreira up at the front, and he's nursing a 3.6 second gap to Nicholas Alvarado in behind, who's now making his way down Wellington once more. Zach Doran starting to close. Do have to wonder whether Doran's thinking of a move sooner or later, because we're coming into the final 1 minute and 30. They will have another lap to take, but you'd assume that the next one will be their last, Rory. Yeah,
I mean, he hasn't got a choice, to be honest, George, I don't think, because he's currently, what's this, if my maths serves me, he's 27 points behind Alvarado, and there's only going to be 50 points on offer after this, so he's got to go for it here. He's got to go for broke. They're both going wide here. I mean, down towards Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. What a wonderful set of corners these are. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see his exit here as he comes through onto the hanger straight. Let's see if he can make a move here. Let's just come through. He takes a bit of a tighter line, gets a bit of a wiggle on the way out, but yeah, he's got to absolutely go for it. They're tucked in the slipstream. There's only a couple of opportunities though left to pass. Maybe one as he comes through Vale. Let's stay on board and see what he does here.
Yeah, either the Vale Club corner section wide from Alvarado, though, however, so that might be a signal sent to Zach Doran that maybe things are not all well in Camp Alvarado as it stands. He's 3.8 behind Moreira, has got no possible slipstream opportunity. Zach Doran does, though, as we now watch Ruby Neko Mata heading through towards Vale Club corner. He's chasing after Bruno Yamamoto as they now fly into the double right-hander coming out of Vale Club. And now down the Hamilton Straight, where they'll then take what is usually defined as turn one in the Grand Prix world. As we now watch them fly through now, looks like Neko Mata might yet have a chance at taking P9, and that run heading out of the first few corners was exceptional. Once again, we saw Yamamoto defending like this not too long ago. The timer is at 0. If Neko Mata wants to make this happen, no time quite like the present, and this is exactly what we saw from Yamamoto when he was trying to defend against Gabriel Felipe not long ago. But now all eyes to the front as Fidel Moreira, fresh off the back of 2 difficult races in the final 2 races back at Watkins Glen, he bounces back for a second win of the regional finals. Fidel Moreira, your race winner here at Silverstone, here in round 2, race 1. Fabulous start to tonight's festivities, puts himself right in the ballpark of a potential qualifying spot for the Ferrari HP Esports Series Grand Final at Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, but there's still a long way to go tonight. But Nicholas Alvarado once again on the podium. He's the only driver to go 100% in terms of podium scored so far this campaign. That is 4 out of 4 with Zach Doran, who was riding his rear wing all the way through to the start-finish line. Of course, it was still 1.3 off the back, but still a 3rd place for Doran as he looks to hunt for his own qualifying place as well. But a very fierce fight, Rory, but job done for Moreira.
Yeah, he's well and truly back, isn't he? That is what he exactly needed. He would have been absolutely, well, he would have been in pieces, I would have thought. He would, like, after that race one in Watkins Glen, you probably thought, right, this is in the bag. It could not have got off to a more perfect start. Then race 2 happened with the disconnect, so he started at the back at race 3, then got caught up in a big pile-up. But now he can put that all behind him and he can just focus on the next 2 races. He's done one. He just needs to repeat twice more. And then, well, it looks like he could somehow rescue this. I mean, that would be fantastic for him, especially with this structure. It would be very, very unlikely for anybody to recover after that. But if anyone can do it, I do think that he's the one who can.
He definitely could. And tell you what, look what that does to the points as well. Nicholas Alvarado still on top on 86 as it stands. Of course, has a 100% podium record so far in the regional finals phase. 4 out of 4. Zach Doran in second on 56. As it stands, Doran will have qualification heading through to Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi for the Ferrari HP Esports Series Grand Final. But Fidel Moreira is starting to knock on that door now, only 6 points behind. Remember, the points gulf between a victory and a second place is quite vast. Do you want to know how much it totals, folks? Well, it actually totals 7 points. So it would be enough if Fidel Moreira was to finish first in the next race with Doran in second. Moreira would then go on to move ahead into second place. So it's still an open book so far in terms of qualification. Gabriel Felipe managing to cling back on some points. He is far from out of this. He is on 49, only 1 point behind Moreira. One decent result could yet sway it, and I think Felipe could be the one to watch in our next race. Skylar Loverink as well in 5th spot on 31 points, with Ricardo Rivera on 24 points in 6th. 22 points for Renato Dornelles in 7th. 12 points for Hamza Gulzar in 8th place as well. That rounds out your top 8 in terms of the championship. In terms of the rest of the 8, we've got Mateus Alves on 12. We've got Angel Estroza on 11 points in 10th, and then Andrew Rados in 11th place on 10 points, joined by Bruno Yamamoto in 12th. Vinny Oliveira in 9-point territory with 13th place against his name. Joseph German in 14th on 6, joined by Jose Este in 15th, and Louis Velez on 4 points in 16th place. So that rounds out your championship standings as they stand. Remember, all points, all standings are provisional until the stewards have had their say on certain matters that would have occurred out on track. But Rory, fascinating scenes, still very close. 4 drivers, all with a chance, I would say, at this stage, of getting that qualification spot to the grand final. And I must say, it's starting to whet the appetite. 2 races to go. And I would say Gabriel Felipe is not out of this.
No, I mean, he showed some serious pace and some serious fire to make his way through there. And, you know, he will be starting so far further up the grid this time than he was. He started at the back, so he made his way all the way up. And, yeah, he will be a man to watch in this one. But also, you know, it's just fascinating to see what the other 3 are going to do. You know, it's just, I love this. I love this format. I love this track as well with these cars. It just makes for great viewing. It's an absolute pleasure to sit here with you and everybody at home and watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to watch. And yet another win for Fidel Moreira, only his second this season. A key way to bounce back, and did it in dominant fashion. He was 3+ seconds clear, very nearly 4 seconds clear, coming across the line ahead of Zach Doran and Nicholas Alvarado. Alvarado, of course, with a 100% podium record so far, looks set to carry on this trend as well. Should it stay like this, he will get qualification through to the grand final. Obviously, it could yet all come down to that second qualification spot, I think, which you have, you know, essentially 3 drivers fighting over it.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs to limp over the line, really, doesn't he? He's on 86 points. The other guys, I think the maximum they can get, the best shot is maybe 106 if they win. I think Zach Doran can get if he wins 2. Fidel Moreira can only get 100 if he wins both. So he only needs 21 points to win the whole thing. And he can quite easily get that with this point system over the next 2 races. But if he somehow gets a win, then he goes through as number 1. There's nothing else anybody can do. But the next races are just going to be, it's going to be more of the same, I hope. Absolutely fantastic. But as we've seen, it doesn't always go to plan. We always think, oh yeah, it's going to be the same. But this series always throws something up. Yeah, and I'm just wondering what it's going to be this time.
Yeah, 50 points at stake now is all that remains left. Obviously, maximum points 50 heading into the next 2 races. So, as you so rightly say, if you add yet another 50 onto the points totals, could be seeing 118 points heading into the next one for Nicholas Alvarado. So he is well and truly clear. Obviously needs to obtain those victories in order to do that. But I would say right now, 4 out of 4 podiums, his hand is pretty strong heading into the next 2 races. Zach Doran, Fidel Moreira, very close between those 2. I think the start in race 2 is going to be key. There's going to be a couple of drivers looking to get a decent getaway, I would say, Rory. I mean, that essentially is what they need to do, right? They need to stop Fidel Morera and his one-lap pace, because he was the only one lapping in 156s.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sort of trains of thought, really. You know, they can either try and stop him, which is going to be pretty impossible, I reckon, or just concentrate on everybody else and fight for that second place, that second ticket, which I think is the one that's up for grabs. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, Zach Doran's not going to want to get stuck behind again, because it looked like he had the pace, but he just couldn't get past. So he'll be looking to get the jump here, but I think he'll be starting on the outside as we go for the first right-hander. So it's going to be tough. He's going to have to get him down one of the straights or make something happen, which I'm sure he will do, because he'll be hungry. He won't want to stare at the back of that rear wing of that other Ferrari for too much longer. Time's running out for him. Yeah,
it certainly is. And obviously he can't be held up by Alvarado at this point, because of course, as far as Alvarado's concerned, he's not really too worried, I don't think, as to where he finishes. Even if he just finishes on the podium for the rest of the evening, he's in a very, very good spot. For Zach Doran, it's slightly more pressing that he needs to try and get past Fidel Morera. So the start is going to be exceptionally key, I think, heading into the next one. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. Also, Gabriel Felipe as well, who'll be starting further up this time than he did before. And we saw how quickly he managed to jump places. He's going to be salivating at the idea now that group all bunches up together now, Rory. He has a great chance of attacking right at the get-go.
And that's exactly what he'll do. If he gets half a shot, he's going to attack. You saw some of the moves he was pulling off coming through the pack there. I mean, these are no slouches, those drivers that he was overtaking. So I think the main thing as well for the guys up front is also to keep it clean. If they go off or if they get hit off, there's 25 points up for grabs for the winner. If they don't score in every single of these next two races, they could really be in trouble, and it could be the end of their championship. So they've got to be super aggressive to hold on to things, but they've also got to keep it super clean. So it'd be fascinating to see exactly how this one pans out as we start race number 2.
Yeah, with 15 minutes to race once more, this time in race 2 here around Silverstone, and it's Fidel Morera at the top of your screen once more. We're watching him in his red Ferrari 296. Nicholas Alvarado alongside him once again. Obviously, the two drivers that have taken race wins, only 2 drivers have taken race wins so far in this America's Regionals final phase here on ACC, and it's Morera and Alvarado who are the only recipients now as they draw the 2 columns of cars up towards the line to get us underway for the second time here tonight. And the green flag is waved, and it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. And just look at that, Alvarado straight away just covering off the approaching Zach Doran in behind, who got a very decent start. So did Ricardo Rivera, who's also looking to gain some points of his own as they fly through Maggots and Beckett's. It's Fidel Morera who leads once again. Nicholas Alvarado down in second. Zach Doran down in third with Ricardo Rivera, and also further back Andrew Rados, who's trying to keep behind Mateus Alves. Joseph German also with Gabriel Felipe trying to make a charge as well, as they now fly through towards Stowe this time. And look at Zach Doran all over the back of Nicholas Alvarado, wheel to wheel. They weren't wheel to wheel last time, but this time Zach Doran's got to take his chance, and he's running quite wide, and that could open the door for Rivera. Really defensive minded there from Alvarado on the run into Vale and Club Corner.
Yeah, Morera will be quite happy with that. I tell you, won't be happy with is Alvarado, who has got Doran all over, as we're watching, all over his rear wing. Just as we said in the pre-race, this is exactly what we expected. He's got nothing to lose now, Doran. He's running out of time here. He has to absolutely go for it, as he's going all over the curbs. He's even leaving the track, as we saw earlier there, to try and get this move done. But he's got to be careful as well, because you've got Rivera and all the other guys behind him. And look at Felipe there, up to P6 already. There he is, trying his old trusted move as he comes through the loop out of Aintree down the Wellington Straight here. Let's see what he does coming through Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote.
Well, he's already 2 places up on where he started. P8 was where it all began for Gabriel Felipe, but is now looking to make it move number 3 as he makes his way around the outside of Alexander Rados, or Andrew Rados, I should say, in P5, as they head through now out of the next right at Luffield in towards Woodcote. and then down the start-finish straight for the first time here in race 2. 13 minutes and counting to go here in this race so far. Fidel Morera still at the top of the shot, 158.597 in that last lap, 1.2 seconds clear of Nicholas Alvarado, who went toe-to-toe with Zach Doran on the initial lap. Doran asking all the major questions, still remains 3.5 tenths in behind his rival. Obviously, remember, it's key for Doran to get past Alvarado in order to give himself a chance of qualification. Same can be said for Gabriel Felipe, who still sits in 6th, chasing down Andrew Rados for a chance at the top 5 as they now fly down this long hanger straight. There is the battle for P2 resuming once more. Doran getting closer again. He might try it into the heavy braking zone at Club Corner. Has a look up the inside this time coming through Stowe, but if he carries the speed, the heavy braking zone might yet be his best bet. Heading down towards Vale and Club. Very, very wide taken from Alvarado. Not as defensive as he did before. And Doran once again having to wait.
Yeah, Doran has to be careful there because he would have got one warning for that. He would have got his first warning on the very first lap for leaving the track. Track limit warning, that is. So he's only going to have a few of those, and he does not want to risk getting a penalty. He needs to go for it, but he doesn't want to risk getting a penalty because that will truly be the nail in his coffin of trying to get through here. But look how close he is. I think he just needs half a chance, I think, and then he will absolutely send it. I mean, you'd have to, right? If you're Zach Doran, you have to send it now. There's no more time left. This is it. There's no time for pleasantries. There's no time for patience. Let's see if he absolutely sends it.
Yeah, he certainly does have to. He's going to have a look at the inside here. Zach Doran, once again, definitely looks far more aggressive than he was before. Of course, he was following Alvarado in our last race, just trying to I don't know, just unsettle the man in the yellow Ferrari 296 as they now head through Woodcote Corner and across the start-finish line once again to bring it into their second lap. Still Fidel Morera up at the top has taken the fastest lap of the race so far as well, but it's the man from Pittsburgh that we've got all eyes on. He's sideways coming through Copse Corner as well, takes out one of the cones as a obviously as a consequence as they now fly through Maggots and Beckett's. A very harem-scarum moment, but he hasn't lost too much time, Rory.
No, he hasn't, and we've still got Felipe. He hasn't got past P5 yet, so he's still hanging in there. He's still doing okay, P5. You know, Andrew Rados there is just trying to hang on. He doesn't care about the championship. He's just doing his race here. Once again, Doran is trying again. He's going to look to the inside this time. Just wait for the camera to switch. Oh, he's gone. He's going to get through, I think. Is he going to get through?
Not quite, a little unsettled on the run through, and this might open the door here for Ricardo Rivera as well. He's looking to try and chase after Doran. There was a little moment where they rubbed paint off each other, and Alvarado was just sending him in all places. Oh, wow! Big contact. Massive collision, and unfortunately for Ricardo Rivera, he was caught up in all that as well. In comes Andrew Rados as well. He's been under pressure from Gabriel Felipe, so no gains at all here for Zach Doran, and he might lose out to another contender who's looking to attain qualification. Gabriel Felipe now wheel to wheel here this time with Zach Doran on the run through the first sector, as it would be in the Grand Prix layout. They come through the loop, through towards Aintree. The two Sky Blue 296 is running wheel to wheel, but Zach Doran doing enough to hang on at least for now, but the run down Wellington is still very long indeed, and they're going to run toe-to-toe in towards Brooklands. Inside line here for Doran. Felipe asking all the major questions. He's far more aggressive than Doran, especially here at this moment in time where these big points are all that matters, and Felipe is not going to let him forget it.
Absolutely not. I mean, Felipe thinks all his Christmases have come at once here, with two of his main rivals here coming together. I mean, we're going to have to see a replay at some point to make, you know, we can't make, you know, like calls on who was in the wrong and all that sort of stuff. It looks on the face of it like Alvarado just didn't give enough space on the exit. I'm not quite sure, though. We'll have to have a look at that again. But like we said in the pre-race, you have to be careful because now, where is he? He's down in 13th place. He's scoring no points here while all his rivals are scoring points. Yeah, he's got a commanding lead, of course, but we were talking about, yes, he has to get a podium every single time. What he would do to rewind a lap and take that back, I think he'd give him way more space, just to be sure.
Yeah, well, just to say this, Rory, I mean, with this win, it places Morera on 75 points. And of course, Moreira isn't going to have any concerns placed against him. He's been on his own throughout the entire time as we watch Jose Este fly down in towards Vale and Club as well. But yeah, like I was saying, Moreira will be on 75. Alvarado's currently on 86. I mean, that's 11 points between them. So, you know, Alvarado has a big chance heading into the final race to lose out. And bear in mind, the grid, if you remember, starts from where they finished at the end of this race for race 3. So this could see Alvarado out of the grand final phase.
It's incredible. This format is one of my favourite and most brutal things that I've seen in anything. It just takes one thing to go wrong. I'm amazed that Moreira has come back the way that he has from a statistical standpoint. But here we go. We're going to look at the replay here, George. Do you want to take us through this and let us know what you think?
Yeah, well, they made their way toe-to-toe. It looked like there was definite closure there from what looked to be Alvarado just really closing him off. And then it placed obviously the ball in the court of Ricardo Rivera just behind, but he was still tenacious, Zach Doran. I think there was a degree of being held up a little bit by Alvarado, maybe a degree of frustration on part of Zach Doran. It was unfortunate for Rivera that he got caught up in that because he was the innocent bystander in all this. You know, I think, to be honest, Rory, there's a tale of two halves there. I would say you had Zach Doran's frustration, and I think you had the ultra-defensive mindset of Nicholas Alvarado.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't think he needed to defend that so hard. No. I don't think looking at that Doran was far enough alongside to leave it in there. But even so, you know, he's protecting a lead, or was protecting a lead. Was Alvarado. So I would have, hindsight's 2020, and it's easy for us to say it here in our, you know, here in our nice warm boxes and not, you know, not in the sim there. I think he would agree with me that he would give more space next time, just to be sure. There's so much runoff there as well that makes it even more painful. And yeah, that could well be the end of his championship. Let's see.
It did look like there was some line swapping there on part of Alvarado, and I'm sure I would agree 100% with what you're saying, that I think he would definitely take that back had he had the chance to replay it again. There is Nicholas Alvarado, who I'm sure now has got the bit between his teeth because he knows exactly the stipulation he's faced with now, and Gutierrez defending for his life as well, doesn't want to forfeit 12th place. He's playing for pride, or racing for pride here at this stage, and has got Rivera as well behind him. Now remember, Rivera was the one who was also fighting over a podium place, and he was the innocent bystander that got caught up in it, so I doubt that he's feeling charitable to Nicholas Alvarado at this stage.
No, and I also think Nicholas Alvarado is probably carrying quite a lot of damage after this one, because he got knocked in the side, in the rear there, and then he got hit. So look, we can see it there as well. I just think it's going to be handling like an absolute pig, that Ferrari. Looks beautiful, but I'm sure it's handling like a pig, to be honest, as we're going to see Rivera try and take that place off him. But it doesn't look like he's got too much issues with straight line speed, though. But these two, yeah, I could see it coming together here at this point, because they, I think, are going to be frustrated. Emotions are going to be running high, and I'm going to think that they both probably think that their trip to Ferrari World Abu Dhabi is slipping away, really.
Well, the fabled Ferrari 296, which was the new addition brought to the motorsport world by Ferrari, of course, is the successor to the 488 that we have witnessed in our Assetto Corsa platform of racing. But the only difference between the two really is the fact that there is 2 less cylinders in the 296. We're in the 6-cylinder format here with this car, and of course 8 cylinders for the 488, which grants the 296 has better fuel efficiency, but at the same time still carries that same punch down the start-finish lines and down the home straights as well, but also has better cornering on top of it, a little bit more aggressive in some of those apexes, which we certainly love to see, and these drivers have utilised it well, and especially around a circuit like Silverstone, you can utilise this car at its very best. And we've seen it in real life as well, where we've encountered the Ferrari Challenge Championship. Of course, they run their UK Championship here at Silverstone. It was only a few weeks ago, in fact, that they ran here. I say a few weeks, it's probably just over a month now that they last ran here in the Ferrari Challenge UK. As you now watch them fly down in towards the next left-hand. They're coming through Brooklands. I must say that was very dangerous there from Zach Doran. Went in very deep coming in towards Brooklands. And I think fortunate for Andrew Rados, I think he was just about out of the picture of that, but just missing his braking zone slightly there, Zach Doran. And Gabriel Felipe, as a consequence, moves up into 3rd place and his first podium of the round.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be amazing to see if he can get through there. As we look at the guys down the back here, Ricardo Rivera, they're trying to go around the outside. Best of luck with that, my friend. Oh, no, very respectful as well. Oh, they're going to touch, and then is Alvarado going to have the pair of them 3 wide as we head into Maggots? That doesn't normally work. There you go. There you go. Does anyone want the lottery numbers this evening? Sometimes these things just don't work. Just that is what I meant. You know, I said that there was potentially going to be a crash. He's going to be frustrated. He's going to be emotionally charged, and as we saw there, you know, another crash there. But I just want to go back to the Zach Doran stuff and the Gabriel Felipe, who looks to have got past Andrew Rados there. We might have to have a look at that if the production guys can chuck it on there. I'm looking on my timing screen. Oh no, it's just flicked back. So he's not past him yet. But yeah, I think he'll be trying to do so very, very soon. And if you're Doran, you're going to be wanting to hang on the back of that to try and pick up any scraps of that battle. And here we go. Here they are.
Yeah, getting very close. Doran coming back at Gabriel Felipe. And Felipe certainly not looking as dangerous on the back of Andrew Rados, who is still holding on to that 2nd place, though Felipe is still within a second. He's within 9/10 to the back of Rados's 296. But keenly enough, Zach Doran, I'm sure, chomping at the bit to recover after losing the spot, just due to his own use of the brakes, essentially coming into Brooklands. He's going to want to try and fight to get this place back because, of course, he doesn't want to slip points to Gabriel Felipe, who looks set to add 15 to his number as time goes on. And, of course, he's fought back really bravely here at this point as Gabriel Felipe. Remember, he was only just a few points behind a couple of the drivers that were sat in the top 3 of the championship. Fidel Moreira to be one of the strong examples. And now looking to try and close down on the back of Rados in the dying moments. This lap will be the last. 50 seconds to go here at this stage. It's still Fidel Moreira, who has managed to advance a charge even greater than his previous one. It's beyond 7.5 seconds, Rory. A dominant display, and he's got the fastest lap.
Yeah, he'll be happy. This is exactly what he wanted to do. If he could bring this home, it would be 2 from 2, recovering fully, I would say, now from what he experienced at Watkins Glen, with the issues with Alvarado as well. You know, nothing could have really gone, any better for him, especially with Andrew Rados in the mix as well, just being the cork in the bottle here, being a thorn in the slide of Felipe and Doran here, taking more points away from his rivals. It's going to be interesting here. I'm not quick enough with the maths, but it's going to be really interesting to see how the standings all fall after this one, because Alvarado, he's going to have a real problem. He's going to be starting so far back in the next race as well that he's going to be looking okay points-wise here, but no, he's in big trouble, I think.
I think he is, Rory. I mean, Fidel Moreira, if he wins the next race, as he has done so all night long so far, that will place him theoretically on... in fact, it would place him on 100 points. Moreira will break a century should he continue at this juncture. So it is looking like it's favouring Moreira here at this point. And obviously, if Alvarado doesn't score any points here, as Moreira comes across the line, takes the checkered flag, back-to-back victories, and a triple crown through the course of 2 rounds here for Fidel Moreira. A fantastic display. And will lay claim to 75 points now. And that means that he's only 11 behind our current championship leader in the regional finals phase here in the Americas region of ACC, Nicholas Alvarado. A truly significant result for Fidel Moreira in what could yet grant him qualification from the most unlikely of circumstances. Has Nicholas Alvarado, Rory, cost himself a chance at qualification to the grand final?
I think he has, George, if I'm honest. I hate to say it because, he came into this being top. But, he didn't have to squeeze so much. Doran may not have had any right to be there, You've got to be aware of your surroundings, especially with the radar that they have on ACC as well. It's one of the most sophisticated in all of sim racing. He's going to know exactly where he is. He's going to know exactly where he is in the championship, and he's going to know exactly what Zach Doran is like. Not as in like he's a bad driver, but he's going to know what he's like. He's going to have been experiencing so many sort of overtaking attempts and things. He's going to know he's going to go for it. And yeah, as we said, he's going to wish he had that time back, because he would have given him as much room as he needed, I thought, because it could have looked so much different for him. But now he's in big trouble.
Yeah, he's in huge trouble, I would say. And the rest of the cars are now starting to close the gap here at this point. The stewards are going to try and keep us updated as to what's happening. Folks, remember, all results provisional still so far, but we will obviously keep you up to date as best we can. I do know for sure that they will be looking into that Alvarado incident, especially that one at Maggots and Beckett's. And I appreciate as well, Rory, that it was probably done out of frustration in many ways. I mean, he had no right to go 3 wide through Maggots and Beckett's, for example. The stewards are probably going to go slam dunk on that, which could yet see him, I mean, not that he was going to be on the cusp of making points at that point anyway, but he's now starting in a very difficult spot for our next race. I mean, he's going to be outside the top 10 heading into race 3, which, is almost a certainty for a 0-point score. And you've got the likes of Zach Doran, for example, who is on 68. Obviously, we'll have to look at some of the numbers as well coming into this. Here is the standings, incidentally. Remember, all provisional, folks. Nicholas Alvarado may be our championship leader. 86 points so far, with Fidel Moreira now moving up to second, only 11 points behind Alvarado at this stage. Zach Doran, though, knocking on the door as well, 68 points against his name. And Gabriel Felipe, who is going to be on an almighty charge in this final race. Remember, obtaining P3s on the second row of the grid will have every chance of challenging Nicholas Alvarado in our final race. So there could yet be a final twist in the tail. Bear in mind, if Felipe takes a victory, that will put him on 89 points. 3 points clear of Alvarado should he not score points in the next race, for example. So the top 4 very much all in this fight to obtain qualification to the grand final at Ferrari World Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, for the Ferrari HP Esports Series. Skylar Lovering down in 5th place on 31. Andrew Rados on 28 points in 6th. Ricardo Rivera on 24 points in 7th, with Renato Dornelles on 22 points in 8th place as well. That rounds out the top 8. Mateus Alves on 22 points in 9th. Joseph German in 10th on 14. Hamza Gulzar on 12, as well as Bruno Yamamoto. They are 11th and 12th respectfully. And then Angel Anestrosa in 13th on 11. Vinny Oliveira in 14th on 9, joined by Ruby Necomata in 15th place. Then Jose Este down 16th on 7 points. But Rory, juicy scenes, it has to be said. 4 drivers, all with a chance of qualification. Both spots are up for grabs right now. No one is safe. And I would say he may be our championship leader, but Alvarado is the outsider, I would say, in all this.
Well, I'm not very good at maths, right? I'm a sim racer, not a mathematician. But say we've got Fidel Moreira, sorry. Imagine, or assuming he's going to win the next race, he's going to take 25 points. For second place, there's 18 points. Now, I believe there's 18 points between second place and Zach Doran. Is that correct?
Looking at it on paper, I mean, Alvarado's on 86 as it stands. So Doran right on the cusp of breaking in. Like I said,
he's on 68, right?
Yeah. So there's only a small amount. I mean, Moreira's on 75. If Alvarado doesn't score any points, and if Doran claims a P2, I mean, that will change everything. And not to mention Gabriel Felipe now on 64. If he all of a sudden wins this race, he'll be 3 points clear of Alvarado. So it could be Felipe out of nowhere making his way through to the grand final phase. So this is what I mean. 4 drivers, all with a chance, and both spots are up for grabs. Amazing.
Yeah, or is he going to hang on despite his awful last race?
It'll take a lot.
The impending, the current race, or the next race, let's be honest, it could be awful for him as well, because you have to work his way through the pack. Despite scoring no points in this race, no points in the second race, or this upcoming race, which we can assume, is he going to get through Anyway, it's going to be fascinating. I'd love to know the tie-breaking rules. You'd have to go through the old rule book there, George. But what will happen if there's a tie-break for P2 in the championship? Will it be down to wins? Will it be down to best results or what? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, we're going to find out in about 15 minutes' time. This is brilliant.
Well, I mean, if it's count back on wins, then obviously that favours Alvarado at that point. So that could be yet the one thing that allows him to clamber on. But I mean, Doran might not be the issue at this point. It could be Gabriel Felipe that might be the issue. So, unfortunately, the ball is against Alvarado. It's not in his court anymore. It's out of his hands as well. The best he can do is try and rise up the order as quickly as he can. The one thing he does have, obviously, on his side, he's going to have to obviously get going out of the blocks in our next race, and he'll need to make places urgently. Of course, his race couldn't have really got much worse in race 2. I mean, from obviously making that crucial error, coming unstuck, against Zach Doran. I mean, we don't know yet about Zach Doran's result because, of course, he was the one who made contact with Alvarado. I mean, he might get reprimanded as well and lose the points that he earned in that last race, and therefore that favours Felipe even more so. So, listen, this is far from over here at this point. And can I just say, folks, you're going to be in for a treat as we make our way into race 3. So many questions. Obviously, let us know in the live chat as well who you think is going to lay claim to this. We've got 2 places to decide through to the grand final phase of the Ferrari HP Esports Series at Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi. It doesn't get much bigger than this. We haven't even got to the final round on AC yet in the regional finals. This is proving to be one of the most compelling rounds we have had in the regional finals phase, Rory.
And do you know what? If he does make it to Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi, he needs to take Andrew Rados with him because he has taken points off of the guys of Zach Doran, Felipe as well. He could be the reason that he somehow scrapes through to Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi. And if he does, he needs to either take him with him, buy him a t-shirt, buy him a nice seafood dinner or something. I don't know what it is. But he needs to do something to say thank you, because if it wasn't for him being the thorn in the side of the other two and holding on as much as he could, I don't think he would be through to the final.
I think the opposite will be said for Ricardo Rivera, who was unfortunately caught up in that big scramble between Doran and Alvarado. That was a shame because obviously Rivera not in the title fight, of course, as we all know, but racing for Pride. I can't imagine he would have taken kindly to that, whether he was in the championship fight or not. Obviously, it's never nice to be taken out of a race when you weren't even part of the incident to begin with. But yeah, Alvarado obviously coming unstuck. Doran might yet also get a slap on the wrist. We don't know what the stewards have decided yet, folks. We will, of course, keep you updated once we know more. But at this stage, it's all down to 4 drivers. Alvarado on 86, 75 for Moreira as well, who currently sits second in the championship. So that's 11 points between them. 68 points for Zach Doran. As we're currently looking at it, mere fragments between every single driver, everybody. At the moment, that would suggest 18 points difference between Doran and Alvarado. And then Felipe down on 64. Unbelievable. 22 points between Felipe and Alvarado. If Felipe lays claim to 25 points, that's a 3 points gap should Alvarado not score at all in the final race. Mouth-watering. Can't wait. And obviously, we're just only moments away from the final one. Rory, I'm going to put you on the spot. Where do you see this going?
I think Herrera's going to run away with this one. And I think, thanks to Felipe and Andrew Rados's input in the last race, that Nicholas Alvarado is going to go to Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi. That is just what I think. But what do you think? Who do you think is going through?
Well, I mean, Gabriel Felipe needs to win, right? So I'm expecting a very aggressive Gabriel Felipe right at the start here. We know that he's not short of pace, Rory. We saw him, really like a knife through butter, making his way through half of the cars on the grid. Unbelievable moves as well. Seems to have a very good understanding as well of switchback methodology where it comes to making these overtakes happen. He seems to like this track a lot better than he liked Watkins Glen, dare I say.
Yeah, he needs to clear Andrew Rados immediately. Well, firstly, he needs to defend from Zach Doran, but he needs to then clear Andrew Rados immediately and then get after Moreira. That will be fantastic. We haven't seen these guys go head to head yet. Moreira's had an absolutely, well, dare I say, easy ride, simple ride, shall I say. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can get through and onto him. But over to you, George.
Here we go, folks, for the final time this evening on ACC here in the Americas region. This will decide 2 spots for the Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi Grand Final in the Ferrari HP Esports Series. They run up towards the line. Green flag waves, and it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. Great start for Fidel Moreira. Andrew Rados getting off slightly slowly, and that's going to favour both Gabriel Felipe and Zach Doran as they now fly through towards Maggots and Beckett. Remember, Felipe and Doran also in this championship hunt looking for qualification, and as it stands, Zach Doran, I think, got the jump on Gabriel Felipe coming through Maggots and Beckett's and rounding out Chapel. But a great chance for Felipe here to come back. Movements further back as well as we see a Ferrari 296 all dressed in yellow cutting away as well. The 2 sky blue Ferraris now going nose to tail as they now fly through Stowe Corner. This time around it's Zach Doran who remains in 3rd, but Gabriel Felipe fighting tooth and nail to get into this, aggressively moving in behind now as they look to run wheel to wheel again, heading through Vale and Club Corner. The tenacity here of Gabriel Felipe, the same tenacity that rose him up the order heading through the course of tonight's races, and now he's looking to take down Zach Doran, and he's taken down Zach Doran as they fly through turn 1 on the Grand Prix layout. It's Moreira though who has that healthy advantage.
Yeah, once again, Moreira's run off, and I love what I'm seeing from Andrew Rados here. He's not in the championship fight. He's got no chance of going to Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi. He's just here for another podium, and he is defending for his life. Fair play, but now he's got some serious work to do as Gabriel Felipe there is on him. He almost lost it to Zach Duran, but now he can concentrate on getting after Andrew. And let's have a look here at Nicholas Alvarado. He's trying to make his way through the pack. He's only 1 place away, though, from a point, which could be crucial here after what we spoke about in the early stages just before this one. But he knows all too well after the last race, he's got to keep it clean. He's got to keep it on track. A clean car is a fast car, and to win first, what's that phrase? To win first you got to win, or whatever it is. That one.
First you have to
do that. There we go, that's the one.
Yeah, to win first you have to finish. Every point right now for Alvarado is gold dust. Needs to try and grind his way back into the top 10. He's on the tail of Ricardo Rivera and Bruno Yamamoto as they fly through, but it looks like Rivera and Yamamoto have plans of their own as they look to tussle heading through Maggots and Beckett. So now going to head through Chapel. But Alvarado waiting patiently, cutting off to the escape as well. I think that might be Yamamoto who's looking at all kinds of lines as they fly now through towards Stowe Corner. Again, a little look here from Rivera once more as they look to go side by side, heading through Stowe once again. Alvarado watching all this unfold. He's got Dornelles just sat in behind him as well, still side by side between the 296s in front. The question is, does Alvarado pounce on them straight away, or does he take a more measured approach? By the looks of it, I think he has. Having a look up the inside, a little bit of contact. Alvarado losing the car. Oh, he's round. Alvarado's round. And big damage, you can only imagine, sustained. That will cause an upset. This time, he was the bystander. And has that ended his championship?
Oh, I don't know, I mean, incredible. Dornelles has come to the party here and just absolutely run into the back of him. He's got no part to play in all of this. And I don't even think he was in race 1. I think he's just turned up for race 2. And he's hit it. He's hit the person who is fighting for a ticket to the grand final. Absolutely incredible. He's now down in 17th place. Just like we said, again, you have to finish. You have to keep this clean. It wasn't his fault there. And unfortunately, the 2 cars in front of him were battling so hard that he brought Dornelles into the fight. And everything just got a bit too close. He's going to have nightmares about this night for many, many moons to come, I can tell.
Well, I can tell you this, at this moment in time, he still goes through as it stands. Gabriel Felipe needs to get to work. It's all on Felipe here at this stage, and arguably Zach Doran as well. They are still manacled together, but they're hunting down after Andrew Rados, who is going to come under convincing pressure now off the back of Gabriel Felipe, who is hunting down every single apex, knows he has a chance here to do the unthinkable, and he's going to have to try and gain on Fidel Morera as well. Everything is necessary. He's got nothing to lose, and around the outside here for Gabriel Felipe as he tries to tie up here with Andrew Rados. He's going to fly on through, make contact with Rados. Is 296, and up the inside goes Zach Doran. Absolutely sensational. He's going to try and take down as well Andrew Rados on the run through to Mail and Club, but Rados hangs on. A major moment. Felipe tagging the back for the Ferrari 296, the one dressed in black, and it fed the momentum through to Zach Doran, who gladly obliged.
I don't know if Doran's going to hold on to this, though, because he's right behind. He's giving him the flashing and everything. Oh, it's so close through there. Look how close they're running here, George. Absolutely fantastic. I don't think Felipe's done either, but bravo, Andrew Rados. What an absolute animal. Just holding on to all of this.
Well, look at Felipe up the inside as well, heading through the loop, and has managed to pull it off. And Doran, I think, has gone a little bit squirrely, heading through the loop section in towards Aintree, and may have paid the price. But now Felipe with an excellent run, and he's been given a breather from the cars in behind as well. He's got Joseph German in behind Zach Doran at the moment, with also Mateus Alves, who sits in P6. But now Rados has got a huge problem, because here comes Gabriel Felipe. But unfortunately for Felipe, there is quite a gap between Rados and Morera as it stands. It's strung out to nearly 6 seconds in total, which Alvarado is going to be absolutely delighted with, even though he is sat down in 17th.
Yes, exactly. I've actually got half an eye on Alvarado there. He's currently, what's that, 0.3 of a second behind Bernardo there, or Bernardo, sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be interesting. Is he still on, or is he? He's
just hopped up. He's just hopped up to 15th, Alvarado.
Oh, there we go. So
he's just jumped up ahead of Casey Harding and Lissandro Antonello. So progress has been made here. There's Renato Dornelles, who's in a fight of his own against Jose Este as they come out of Chapel Corner, and got the leverage as well. Este getting it all wrong, heading out of Chapel. Now coming down Hanger. It's gone into the hands of Renato Dornelles. Now he's up into 9th place as we now watch them fly through Stowe once again. But you have to wonder, Felipe's got to make a play here now, Rory. 8 minutes and 10. It's now or never.
Yeah, absolutely. And even then it may be too little, but he's got to give himself some sort of fighting chance here. But, you know, Andrew Rados has defended amicably the whole time. He's been immovable ever since that the last time out where he was gifted a couple of places. Nobody's been able to get past him. Doran hasn't been able to get past him. Felipe so far hasn't been able to get past him. But let's see, though, because he's a bit of an overtaking machine round here, is Felipe. And it looks like he's setting him up once again for his favourite overtaking move, it would seem, as he comes down toward Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote. Let's see what he does here.
Yeah, we saw him taking a wider line coming out of Aintree just to give him the run, heading down through the long Wellington Straight. He's going to try and go round the outside. A picturesque move indeed. I tell you what, licking the stamp and sending it, that's exactly what Gabriel Felipe is all about, and has managed to now stick his Ferrari 296 into 2nd place. Fabulous move there from Gabriel Felipe, but Rados now looking to hunt him down. He's racing for pride once more again, and could yet take Felipe down, but Felipe will be hoping not. It looks like he's comfortable now, exiting Copse Corner. It's now all about reducing that delta and hoping that Morera makes a mistake.
Exactly, and Doran's going to give him he's going to go through as well. There's contact. There's contact. He's left it right in there. We'll have a look afterwards. Let's see. Oh, who else has gone?
That's Doran. That's Zach Doran. He's off. Oh. He's off. Contact with Joseph German. That's his championship surely over. Zach Doran now out of the picture. It all comes down now to Gabriel Felipe, and I think in frustration that's a retirement there for Zach Doran. He will not complete the race. And that's a real sad thing to see, but at this stage it comes down to this now. Gabriel Felipe hunting down Fidel Morera. We'll keep an eye on the live timings, but currently Morera lapping in the 156s with a 156.8. Felipe 157.7, but bear in mind he has had to make moves. Here it comes now, Dornelles once again, fantastic move on Orlando Lara as well, and he's now up to 7th place. Dornelles giving us a show in the final stages of the regional finals.
Yeah, I believe the technical term is a rage quit. I believe that's what they call that from Zach Doran there. I understand, though, not that I do it myself, but I do understand. I mean, his championship...
You sure?
No, absolutely not. But, you know, then again, I'm not in the Ferrari HP Esports series, so the stakes are never that high anyway, so maybe I would if I was in their position. But it's funny, you know, I mean, maybe Alvarado would probably suggest that would be karma. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe some people in chat were thinking maybe that's karma after the issue that was between Alvarado and Doran earlier. But yeah, that's definitely the end of him now. I'm interested to see what Felipe's true pace is. I mean, he's not at this point going to go through. But as we've just seen there, he's just gone purple. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race.
Well, as it stands, Moreira will top the group with a century of points. He will hit 100 with 25 against his name. As it stands, Gabriel Felipe will move on to 82 points as we now watch a battle for P11 out on track. Neko Marta trying to take down Josu Gutierrez as they look to battle over the positions just outside of the top 10 points equation. God, wheel to wheel again, heading through the Maggots and Beckett section. The car 17 belonging to Neko Marta forced to take the off track. And he comes out ahead of Gutierrez, but I'm sure they'll be dueling again, heading down the long hanger straight and heading down in towards Stowe, and they're bringing along Nicolas Alvarado as well by the same instance, but it's quite a gulf then to those that are currently sat in the top 10. As around the outside comes Gutierrez. They're going to try and challenge Neko Marta for that 11th place again, but Neko Marta holds on very well indeed. But as it stands, Rory, 82 points for Felipe. Should it finish like this, still 4 points behind Alvarado, who still will retain at least P2 in the championship.
Yeah, Felipe at the moment will be absolutely praying for Moreira to have the issues that he had at Watkins Glen. Obviously, we don't want that for him, but it's a possibility. There's an outside chance. It's happened before. So Moreira will be knowing that that is a worry of his, but he's doing everything he can at the moment. And I think, unbelievably, Alvarado has... You know, he's managed to scrape his way through here. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. But isn't it funny how it's almost like an exact mirror image of what happened to Fidel Moreira at Watkins Glen? You know, you get off to a good start, then there's issues, and then you just have no chance in the third race to score absolutely no points. It's quite eerily similar, actually, these guys' story to the final, and it's something I'm sure we're going to be talking about way into the future too.
I think Alvarado is going to be thanking his lucky stars that he defended as well as he did in the opening race, because Zach Doran was all over his tail in race one. Of course, Doran finishing third, Alvarado finishing second. Had he indeed finished in third, it could have yet been a very different tale. I'll say now he would have still finished just about ahead of Felipe, but only by the sheer number of just 1 point would be all that separates them. Was that a car I just saw as well?
Yeah.
Sat in the middle of Maggots and Beckett's. A bit of a moment there occurring. I think that was the white 296 that we're just seeing go under the bridge now, heading down in towards Stowe. So that's Orlando Lara, I think, who are currently watching in the yellow. He's been chased down by Joseph German, who was higher up than this, so has come rather unstuck all of a sudden and has fallen down to 8th place.
It's the most expensive lawnmower I've ever seen, that Ferrari 296. You want to keep it on the black stuff where possible. But I love the way that these guys are just fighting for everything now. A lot of them aren't going to be going, and they know this, they're not going to be going to the grand final. They're just out there racing. They just absolutely love this. How much effort went into even getting this far that they're not going to let it go. They're just going to fight for every single place. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch this America's region finals on ACC. It's been absolutely brilliant. Both this and Watkins Glen. It's been fascinating.
It really has. Moreira looking to check out with the fastest lap of the race as well. His last lap, 156.517, blistering pace. I think very much aware that Gabriel Felipe is hunting him down, but Felipe also lapping in the 156s will feel slightly aggrieved, I think. How different would it have been if Felipe had qualified at the start of the event tonight? Of course, had every chance of, oh, dearie me, another moment for Orlando Lara, who loses out to Joseph German, who gladly takes that P7 away, and I think Orlando Lara can thank himself quite fortunate that he has not lost out to Jose Este, but the next lap will be their last. A minute to go here in the session, and it's Fidel Moreira holding all the cards at the top of the timing screen. He is currently sat clear 6.8 seconds between he and Gabriel Felipe. There's the man himself in the trademark red, scarlet red Ferrari 296 that is looking to bring home grandeur for Fidel Moreira. A century in the making in terms of points, and recovering after a desperate final 2 races at Watkins Glen with a triple crown here at Silverstone. He will not only take a century but also the championship lead and also win the group come the end of the regional finals.
Yeah, I think that'll be relief for him there. What an absolute, just a dominating performance. We've seen some dominating performances throughout some of the finals that we've done, with the regional finals that we've done together, but this is up there with the best. He's absolutely destroyed everybody, and he's going to go in with real confidence. And polar opposite, Alvarado, he's not going to have much confidence, and he's going to be playing this in his mind all the way to Ferrari World Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. So definitely a tale of 2 halves here.
Yeah, roles reversed here at the All Grey of World Motorsport. Moreira has performed valiantly, a runner-up. Obviously, in the past, where it came to the Spa 24-hour in silver class, he was also a runner-up in the SRO Americas Championship last year. But now, a triple crown winner and a winner of the regional finals here on ACC Americas. It's Fidel Moreira. He's stamping his ticket to Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi on the 5th of December. Fidel Moreira, your winner here in race 3, here at Silverstone. A fabulous display. Winner, chicken dinner for the 3rd time tonight and 4 times in total. What a star performer. He's given his best, undisturbed, up at the very top, and very nearly 7 seconds clear of a valiant drive from Gabriel Felipe right at the bitter end. Rory Alexander and Ricardo Rivera coming home in 3rd.
Yeah, bravo, that man. He's done a fantastic job, and he's punched his ticket, as we say. We'll get confirmation of the standings. Obviously, all these results are provisional, so we'll wait to see exactly who is going, if there's any penalties or anything like that being handed out. But what a message being sent by Fidel Moreira. This is going to send a message not just only to those in the Americas region, but everybody who is going to the finals so far. They're going to be saying, when this guy's computer lets him finish and his internet connection lets him finish, he's an absolute savage. He has dominated every race where he hasn't had an issue. He's dominated. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch, and I can't wait to see him in Ferrari World Yas Island in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, the Brazilian, 25 years of age and a professional sim racer applying his trade here at Silverstone. He does indeed break a century in points here in the regional finals in the Americas ACC, and finishes ahead of Nicolas Alvarado, who will be thanking the gods of fate that he managed to at least hold on to 86. He was on 86 right through from the opening race, where he finished 2nd, and he'll be glad that he did. Gabriel Felipe in 3rd on 82, just 4 points, agonizingly close from getting qualification to the Ferrari HP Esports Series Grand Final at Ferrari World Yas Island Abu Dhabi, finishing 3rd in the regional finals championship. Remember, all provisional so far, folks. Stewards will intervene, I'm sure, where necessary. Zach Doran in 4th on 56. Ricardo Rivera, 5th place of the championship on 40. Andrew Rados in 6th place on 36. Mateus Alves in 7th on 36 as well, with Renato Dornelles finishing rather strongly in that last race. 32 points, 4 points behind those above him. Skylar Lovrink in 9th place on 31. Carter Bezborodka on 25 points. Joseph German in 11th on 22. Bruno Yamamoto in 12th on 15. Hamza Gulzar in 13th on 12, with Angel Inestrosa on 11 in 14th, joined by Ruby Nekomata in 15th place. Orlando Lara on 10 points to round out the top 16. And what an occasion it was as well. What a battle, everybody. A huge fight across the grid. It was very nearly dismay for Alvarado. A brilliant way to finish the regional finals phase for Fidel Moreira. Did it in great style as well, Rory. I think that will obviously, like you so rightly said, give him a boon of confidence heading into the LAN event when we go to the grand final on the 5th of December. Same can't be said, you mentioned this as well, same can't be said for Alvarado. Not the best way to go to a grand final.
No, you could say that, George. Yeah, probably the worst way. Backing in to the grand final, I think, is the best way to sum that one up. But he's escaped. He's got another chance. You know, he's a great driver as well. But it must be said, when Fidel Moreira is on track, you know, Alvarado has been and has played second fiddle to him every single time. So it will be really, really interesting how these guys, you know, we're going to speak, of course, to Moreira shortly, I think. But yeah, I just love the psychology of all this sort of stuff. You can have so many different drivers. Now they're all starting to come together. We've got one more round left, of course, on AC at the Nürburgring. But it's pretty much everybody accounted for now. And yeah, I can't wait to see them all together at a LAN event. All these stories coming together for one massive crescendo.
Well, folks, a massive crescendo it would be indeed. I hope you all enjoyed it tonight as well. Obviously, be sure to check out the Ferrari HP Esports series online as well. Don't forget to check out the social media channels as well alike. Big thank you to all the partners, including HP. We're coming closer now to Ferrari World, Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, and the Ferrari HP Esports series. Be sure to stay tuned in. One more chapter to be had, this time at the Nürburgring. But from me, George Morgan, and Rory Alexandra, we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.